Welcome to Deep South. Today I was going to show you the way we've been keeping cool this summer. Now my ice machine and a refrigerator that's only a couple of years old has decided about 6 months ago that it would not work. And we've tried a few things and it's still having its issues. So I bought trays, ice trays. These work wonders. But you see this? It says 2 here, 1 here. You have to cross them. Like this 2 has to go over this 1, has to go over this 2, has to go over this 1. First put water in them. They'll sit down on top of each other and spray water everywhere. So I went to these ice trays also. These have their own lid. And they also have the silicone on the bottom, which makes it so much easier to get them out. Now, dumping ice trays, see, there was one stuck to the bottom. You have to twist them and dump. Okay? The problem with that is eventually these things start cracking. So you don't want to twist them very hard, but you have to. And you have to keep them crossed or else they will sit down inside each other. Okay, so we can go everywhere. And even with them crossed, these two had, see, froze together. And you just have to work with it every day, usually 3 times a day. I would dump these 4 trays till I added these, and it made it once a day. And the lid comes off, and if you have any that's in there, you can just mash the bottom, but they all came out really well. These stack really good, but eventually this plastic top on this is going to give way. They're not going to last forever on that. And we do plan on working on the ice machine again. Overall, these ice trays work better with the lids than the ones without the lid. And my hands are clean. I have these insulated cups that I fill full of ice. Then I add water and electrolytes. Danny and I have 2 each, plus I fill up a couple of jars. Now I take a cooler every day, and we have a Yeti over there. So I put in these premium ice pack replacements for ice and dry ice. You throw these, you fill them up and throw them in the freezer and take them out every morning. I put them in my ice cooler, and then I take it over to the property. When I come back at lunch, I throw them back in the freezer and they're ready for the next day. That way you're not having to have ice and stuff like that. So I put my extra waters, and I do this because the jars tend to sweat, so I put a towel in there, but I put my extra waters in there. I put Danny's and mine snacks. I always put snacks in there. Now we do have water over at the new property, and we have a new well, but I always take water and I put some electrolytes in at least one of the containers so that we do have some electrolytes for dehydration and stuff like that, so that we don't dehydrate. But I had a company send me an ice maker. I tried one ice maker. It's the countertop ice makers. And the first one I tried was the Sonic Ice. It made these little bitty bits of ice. And it was pretty awesome because I love ice. But within a week and a half, I had to send it back. It was not working. It did not clean itself. It made a lot of noise. It was very, very noisy. And it would not fit under my cabinet. I had a company send me another ice maker. It is put out by freezimer, and it makes bullet ice, 2 different size cubes, large and small. It has a hole in the middle of the ice so it doesn't freeze so hard. It's not hard like these ice cubes, but yet it holds the temperature, and I don't know how that works, don't ask me, but it does work really well. I use it usually at night. I will turn it on and put water in it. It holds approximately 3 quarts of water. It will fill up. I will take that ice out, and it usually will fill up a second time, almost on those 3 quarts, which is about a 1.5 gallon bag of ice, or maybe closer to 2 gallons of ice overnight. So that's a pretty good bit of ice. I don't have to touch it. It is self-cleaning. You can put it in clean mode every 3 or 4 days, and it does it itself. So it's really quiet. That's something I like. When it dumps the ice, you do hear it, but I hear this when it dumps the ice too. So not a big deal. But overall, I like the freezimer bullet ice cubes. Okay, the first problem I have is it's taller than any of my cabinets. As you can see, the cabinets are all the same height all the way around, and you can't put it near a stove. So now, number one problem is, where do I put an ice maker that's too tall for the cabinet? Alright, I decided to put it on the buffet table in the dining room. It's not supposed to leak water or anything. We're going to see how big a mess it makes in here, and it should keep the noise away from the other part of the house. The freezimer ice maker that makes bullet ice sits on a cabinet, opens up. It has all the information at the top. The tray comes out. The water goes up to the fill line, which is approximately 3 quarts of water. This tray goes back in the basket that holds the ice. This is where the ice here is made back here, and then it dumps over in here. When you plug it up, it comes on. You hit select mode. I put it on small ice, start, and it says ice making. When it runs out of water, it says add water. If the tray gets full, it says ice full, and you have to dump the tray. And that's as loud as it gets, except when it dumps water. It takes approximately 10 to 12 minutes to make the first batch of ice, and it's about 10 cubes of ice, I think. I can't remember exactly, but approximately 8 to 10 cubes of ice, and it will dump ice every 8 to 10 minutes afterward. The freezimer ice machine does really well. I take and put the ice over in a Ziploc bag, put it in my freezer, because when it comes out of this, it's a touch wet still. And if I go ahead and put it in my ice maker, it wants to all freeze together. So what I do is I put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in my freezer, and later when it's solid, it has no moisture on it anymore, I take and bump the bag and it all breaks up into individual pieces. I put it in my ice maker and I can get my ice from the door. So that keeps me in ice. Y'all, it's been hot. It's been very hot. And here in the Deep South, we love our ice. I promise you, we have to have something to keep cool. And the freezimer ice machine has been a blessing to us over the last couple of weeks to have extra ice when it's so hot. Our temperatures have been over 100 every day for a couple of weeks, and the heat index is way over 100. So we tote ice water all day long. And I want to thank Freezimer for sending the bullet ice maker. Check them out, and I'll put a link in the description below. So every morning I get up, dump ice trays, and fix us water to take to our property, fix us a snack, and we head out. That way we're good for the day, and the Freezimer has helped with the bullet ice that I don't have to sit and dump and fill ice trays first thing in the morning. I can just have my ice because I make it throughout the night and it's ready and I'm good to go. Y'all, check them out in the description below, and we'll talk to you guys later from Deepsouth Homestead.